Hey, how's it going there, YouTube and other card fighters out there? Today in this video, I'm going to be discussing how to budget. This is a video I've been wanting to do for quite some time because in my local community and other places like that and other videos, I see some people and their struggles and, they want to enjoy a game. They want some sort of peace in their lives, and what other better way than to play a nice game? There are video games, and there's card games, board games. Well, there's Cardfight Vanguard for you, and as we all know, with the meta and whatnot, things are not just things are not necessarily cheap for everybody. So I'm going to discuss a quick little bit of tips and tricks and whatnot for you to do to get you on your budget life, and then eventually onto the road to victory. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First thing you want to do is to make a budget. So make a set price for yourself. Let's say like 50 to 60 bucks, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks. Just keep it in that range, or whatever your financial status is. However well you can keep up, just stick around that price. If you can go a little higher, then do so, and just stick with that. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a very, very simple thing to do. And when you get off in anything, it's probably the best thing for you to do first. Just keep a base price, stick with it. You can do better. Just keep going on from there, and eventually you'll be like everybody else. All right, going on to number 2. Do not blow on the very best of support once it releases. Patience is a virtue, so when cards come out, they'll always have that hype price. Maybe they're a real retail price, but you always want to wait for all that stuff to die down, then pick them up. Remember, patience is a virtue. It'll totally pay off, trust me. All right, going down to number 3. Do not disregard the double rare / rare perfect guards, sentinels, quintet walls, whatever. As you all may know, the ones that are primarily played are the ones that allow you to unflip damage, because you want to keep all your resources in check, and you want to keep blowing on your opponent. So obviously you will need some sort of sentinel. No one necessarily plays quintet walls unless you have a deck in hand that does benefit off of them, or unless you play Legion. But Legion is not necessarily the fastest thing to do, and unless you're playing a type of deck that works near the end of the game, such as the one right here, then totally go for it. But I highly suggest that you do not, and you play the ones that Bushiroad have just given all their fans and people in other communities. Bushiroad have started making clan-specific and sub-clan-specific sentinels. They're extremely cheap, only $1 or $2 a piece. Do not worry about getting that damage unflipped. There are so many ways to do that in every single clan, so don't fret. Put that in your deck. Make it work. Remember, it's the deck that needs to work. Perfect guards are just there to give you some pluses. And here you go. More pluses thanks to Bushiroad. Thank you, Bushiroad. Alright, going on to number 4. There's no need for your generic 3s. Your Gurgit, Harry, Gavriel, grade 3s, You don't necessarily need them. If you want to go really, really good budget, play the generic 3s. The like commons, no, not commons, but I believe they're all rares. Some of them are double rares that are all have around the same cost, same skills, so you guys will know. First one's always going to be like GB1, has a very powerful skill, hence rares and commons and some really cheap double rares, but it's for budget. Second skill is always going to have like Counterboss 1, Soul Blast 1, do a very certain skill that relates to the clan itself, or it's a searcher for your keywords, such as searching for Hollow, Brave, all that type of stuff. So yeah, you don't necessarily need to have your stride breaks. Just use generic 3s, break rides, legions, all that stuff. It's fantastic, trust me, and it'll work wonders. All right, now the next one isn't really. It might not help many people, but it's definitely going to help those who know that they can afford these types of things. It's to always use the fighters collections. Now, not everybody likes the fighters collections, and some people say that it's fantastic that they give those types of little things away, but the fighters collection does really, really help in terms of you getting your strides and other little nitty-gritty support in terms of 3, 2s, and 1s, because if you can't get them all in a set, if they're all overly pricey or it's the type of stuff that you need, look towards the fighters collection. You might just find what you need. They're all extremely relatively cheap, so there's no need to fret when it comes down to the money. All right, next, this is a huge one. Use small effects that build up over time and smack your opponent smack dab in the face. Everybody wants to go aggro. Every single turn, you want to be able to punch your opponent so much. If you're trying to go budget, there aren't that many options for you depending on how much you can spend. If you can spend more, you might be able to get a lot of the better cards out there, but your deck will still be pretty janky. You want to go straight up nice budget and super easy life, but definitely have some really overpowering effects that will kill your opponent in one move, maybe two if you weren't careful enough. Use ones that use small effects over time, such as this one. This deck is probably the pinnacle of anything I've ever seen in terms of really cheap budgetness. I don't know. Okay, enough about finger quotes. But yeah, that's definitely something important. If you can't go full on aggro, just go on with the small skills that will eventually win over your opponent near the end of the game. Okay, this next one is incredibly important because it's something you should definitely do in anything if you plan to succeed with some budget. It's to always use the older support. Now, unless you're playing G regulation, you won't be able to do it because they don't have like the flags and crap like that, so you just can't play them. It's like the biggest rotation ever, like the Aztec calendar. Nothing from the previous years matter. So yeah, using the older support definitely helps. Like Darker Regulars, you have Hysteric Shirley, Purple Trapezes from Pale Moon, but then again, she did get a reprint in Japan. So yeah, if you're in Japan and you're watching this, pretty sure you're already in good hands, but this is for all my American bros and Canadians, whoever else plays. And well, yeah, it's pretty much already said for itself. Using the old support is definitely really helpful, especially since the newer support these days definitely benefit from cards that were made so many years ago. So do not just look at support from the G sets, look at the ones from the other ones too. Alright, this one's really important. Do not take crap from anybody. No need to feel discouraged that you're playing budget. If someone looks at your deck, or you as a player, or see you play with your deck, and they're like, what is this guy playing this jank behind thing? Even if you're well known in the community, you're respected by everybody, you're pretty much friends with everybody, but they look at you and you're like, dude, why are you doing this? This is going to ruin your reputation, man. People are not going to look at you very well. And it's like, hey, you're being fun, or you're having fun, you're being extremely creative. It's all just on you. There's no need to take crap from anybody because those are just their opinions, even though they might be stupid and immature ones. There's no need. Remember, you're just having fun, and you're technically playtesting all the darn time. And that's pretty much it for the last bit of this. I mean, you already know to set your budget. Patience is a virtue. What else? Use older support. There's no need for the best of things. Just use generic threes. Small rares and commons that are actually extremely powerful from these G sets, and they just work so many wonders. But even at the end of all that stuff that you know, always remember to have fun. Even if you lose, remember you're practically playtesting. Everything that you're doing is just you training up for the best. But if you do eventually win, you know to feel powerful because your deck just whooped some serious booty. Especially if it was against the meta, that's just because your deck is not the type of deck that they likely play against, so they won't necessarily know your playstyle. So it's not something that they can predict and prepare for, and that's the best part. In another video, I'll definitely have this one shown to you guys. It's not complete yet is the reason why. I'm missing like a few Paratons. I'm missing maybe 1 G-Guardian and 2-3 Strides. So it's just there in your faces to show you guys what a really simple generic build is. And this one is for Pale Moon, and it's the Legion and Artillery, man. Yeah, like I said, I'll explain this deck in another video, most likely the next video, because I'll still be on this budget talk for a bit, because all my friends are like, hey, what's your opinion on like what budget is? How would they make it? What would they need? What are the rules and tips that you can give in a single video? This is pretty much it. Really hope you guys enjoy, and this has been a simple podcast. Peace. Later.